but not human being. If only thou speak not. Then you become an instrument of God's use. From the same mouth proceeded blessing. On Sunday, all you know is speaking words of power. Monday to Saturday, you curse people. And somebody says, I've not cursed anybody. When you wish and discuss the negativism of another person, it's a curse. Because Jesus knows yours, but he calls you the name of salvation. I don't know who I'm talking to here. Jesus knows how negative you are, but he called you after his name. The difference between God and Satan is that God knows your errors and calls you by your salvation, and the devil knows your salvation but calls you by your negativities. And you thought you don't have something right about yourself. I told somebody, feed a human being for 3 years and don't do it for 3 days. He will forget you. But if you feed a dog for 3 days, after 3 years he will remember you. Why? Because human beings have too much capability to contain information. And they don't know how to repel it. If thou speak not. Isaiah 53 verse 5. If thou speak not. I want to use my father, the monarch of the universe, as an example. He said, but he was wounded. Jesus was wounded. Isaiah foresaw it. He saw it before time. He said Jesus was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised. Listen, the insult they give you is for your children. If you speak, you spoil their destiny. The pain you go through, they set up. When they set you up, they are not setting you up. They are setting your career. So Jesus was being bruised, not for Jesus. Was for Apostle Divine. If Jesus spoke a word, my Christianity was shattered. But see something, I was inside him. I wasn't born then, but my reality was evident. He was bruised for my iniquity. He was bruised, not because he wants to be bruised. Then the Bible said the chastisements of our peace. The purpose of our peace. The only reason we should have peace was laid upon him. When they talk of peace, all of you was doomed for hell. That's why Satan had upper hand even when Moses died. No matter how God used Moses, Satan knows it's right to have Moses. God has to bypass laws. Because Moses was the one who brought the law. Then God has to favor Moses against the will of the devil. Because the devil has high right over everybody. So we had no peace. He can take you at any time. He had the legal right to appear before God and said, it's my time for Job. Even Job was righteous. That's the peace you never had. The Bible said the chastisement of our peace was upon him. And with his stripes, they whipped him. If he stopped those stripes, no prayer of mine will work. If he stopped those stripes, he said, no, I'm tired of the pain. Then that's all. But by his stripes, we are healed. But it's not enough. Verse 6 says, all of us, like sheep, had gone astray. All, inclusive Abraham, everybody, had gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way. And it's still happening now. And the Lord had laid on him, God himself laid on Jesus, the iniquity of us all. Jesus carried it. Then something happened in verse 7. He was oppressed. Some people can't take it because they push them to the wall. Some people could no more because enough is enough. The Bible said Jesus carried our iniquity of us all. He was oppressed. He was afflicted. Yet he opened not. Oh, balegazo prede alua shalagande saprigaha. One of my sons who grew up with me in Kumba, who carries water for the building, was reminding me yesterday. He was telling the other guys who they carry water with. They asked him a question. They said, if you were the one who faced what the apostle faced in Kumba, because he was in the same church with me, will you have left? He said yes. And then the lady who asked him said, then why did that person not leave? He says, that's the apostle. And then they started speaking to me. I almost cried because he started telling so deep things that I've even forgotten. He said he never knew. There was a day they summoned me in the office, and one of the leaders, one of the pastors said, I should stand like this, brother, like this. I stood here, another brother stood this way. And we ushered one Sunday, and the following week we were called up. Not we were called up, I was called up. We ushered two of us. We stood as they're standing for the first time. And I was called up and I was rebuked by the pastor that I have a devil. That why did I back him when he was preaching? I said, I was not alone, sir. He said, shut up. Why did you back me? You have a demon. And that was said on Wednesday service on the altar. And the pastor was, the other man who said we should stand was there quiet. I met him the next day. I said, Pastor, you're the one who told us to back the pastor. And we're two of us, but I was rebuked alone. He sat quiet. And then he said some issues. I was mad, but I never spoke a word. And they called us in the office. When they entered the office, I and him, so many things happened in the office. When I came out, this floorboard of a guy, Rex, and many of them, after what happened in the office for about 1 hour, his floorboard who was telling us yesterday that people were coming to listen from the door what was going on inside the office. But when we came out, from that day, we trekked to the house. We always trekked to the house. He never heard me tell them what happened in the office. He said the only time he heard it again, it was when I was saying it on the altar. How many years after? 4 years. Because I understood that a pastor is not perfect by your own description. Jesus carried this issue. The Bible specifically noted in verse 7, he opened not his mouth. Why? If Jesus spoke, so many of you are sick because of what you spoke last year. If a man offend not in words, that person is perfect. Not the man who's trying to fulfill righteousness. If only you won't speak. The reason is that every other law in the Old Testament can only be fulfilled when you talk. You didn't get that. You can't commit any of the 10 commandments without talking. If you don't talk, you will not be able to commit. If a man meets you and says, let's go and make love, you don't talk, you won't walk. If a man says, let's go and steal, you don't talk, it won't work. It's conversation that brings apprehensions. Jesus opened not his mouth.